Good morning, everybody. Welcome. We're so glad that you're here on this frosty morning, and we're proud of you all for pivoting from an in-person program to virtual. So now you got to fess up. How many of you are still in your pajamas? Anybody?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. I hope you have your hot chocolate, your coffee, your tea, and you're ready to go. My name is Janet Milkovich, and along with Connie Taylor, shown above me, we are the co-presidents of the League of Women Voters of Johnson County. As a grassroots, nonpartisan organization, we neither support nor oppose any political party or candidate at any level of government. For 72 years now, here in Johnson County, our work has focused on engaging and educating voters on vital policy issues that impact all of us. We are fully committed to diversity, equity, and inclusion in both practice and principle. As you've noticed from our meetings, we strive to plan all of our meetings through a DEI lens. Today is a really important meeting because together we will decide the priorities to guide our work in the next year. We're trying something new with our virtual ranked choice voting, so please be kind to yourself, be patient with one another, and extend grace to everybody as we learn together. So here's our plan for today. Richard Pund, who has heroically chaired the state elections method study, will take 15 to 20 minutes to explain how ranked choice voting will work. After his presentation, we'll take questions and answers, and then you will have access to a survey and be asked to rank your top 4 preferences for our program topics for 24-25. We'll announce the results of the election at our February meeting and in the February voter. Our team leaders will then briefly share how their plans fulfill our strategic plan. Now for tips and pointers. We need your help to make this program run smoothly. Please mute your microphones. We all love dogs, but we don't want to hear yours bark. We ask you to use the chat box to ask questions. Does everybody know where the chat box is? In my screen, you can look down to the bottom of the page and you'll see chat. When you have a question, type in all caps the word question and then state the question. This keeps our technical support staff from getting frustrated and allows them to see your questions so that we'll be sure to answer them. Another reminder, please keep your comments respectful and nonpartisan. You can switch the layout on your screen by clicking View in the right top corner and selecting Gallery. Now, closed caption is also available. Now I am delighted to introduce LWV JOCO member Richard Pund. He has served faithfully as the chair of the election methods study for LWV Kansas. This has been a 2-year study, and we'll learn much more about the details next week at our special meeting at Smooch. Richard, take it away.
Thanks, Janet. I will share my screen and make sure that that's ready to go. Can everyone see the title of my presentation? See a lot of nodding? Okay, great. So yeah, Janet and Connie asked me to speak today about ranked choice voting just because it's a little different from how we typically vote in our elections. And so I'll just give a brief overview of how it works and some of the problems that it solves and where it's being used and that sort of thing. So I'll just start off by kind of defining what ranked choice voting means. As the name implies, it's a voting method that allows voters to rank more than one candidate in just whatever order they choose. So as you can see in the ballot in this image, the ballot looks more like a grid, and voters are allowed to say, this is the candidate I like first, and then second and third if they want to express preference for multiple candidates. Their vote begins with the candidate that they pick first, and then it only moves on to the second or third choice if needed. It's possible to use a ranked ballot for a single winner election like governor, and when it's done like that, it's sometimes called instant runoff voting. And then it's also possible to use ranked choice voting to elect multiple candidates or pick multiple choices. And you might sometimes see it referred to as single transferable vote when it's being done that way. Ranked choice voting is used throughout the country. It's becoming a more popular reform. This map I got from Fair Vote, which is an advocacy group for ranked choice. And so I'll just briefly go over it. Maine and Alaska now use ranked choice for their statewide elections. A lot of states in the South will issue ranked ballots to some of their voters, military and overseas, which allows those voters to participate in runoffs if those are needed. They just fill out one ballot and then it can be used for the general election and the runoff if that's needed. A few dozen cities across the country use ranked choice for their local elections. The biggest ones being New York City, Minneapolis, and San Francisco, among others. And then some states will use it for special elections, or Wyoming will use it for their upcoming primary. And here in Kansas, the Democrats did use ranked choice for their 2020 presidential primary, for those of you that participated in that. So why is ranked choice voting becoming popular? It's how does it help our elections with what we're doing now? So there are some problems with how we hold our elections today, and I'd like to use our recent governor's election as an example of where it falls short. I chose this one because it was an election where the winner, Governor Kelly, won with less than 50% of the vote, meaning more voters voted for other candidates than voted for Governor Kelly. Now, with a ranked ballot, it would be made clear that the winning candidate would have majority support or more support than the other candidates. With the way things are now, it's not completely clear if she really did have the most support out of the four on the ballot. Additionally, during the campaign, there was a lot of pressure on voters who supported the independent and libertarian candidates. The main parties were pressuring them, like, don't throw away your vote, voting for the independent, vote for the Republican, vote for the Democrat, make your vote count. And while that is debatable, whether or not they're throwing their vote away or not, they have to decide, do they vote strategically for one of the front runners, or do they vote sincerely for the independent or libertarian? And with a ranked ballot, they could do that. They could vote sincerely for the candidate that they really like, and then rank one of the front runners further down the ballot without any worry that it will not make it there. And so to show that, I've got an example from Alaska, which does use ranked choice voting statewide. And I picked a similar election to our governors, where there's four candidates. There were a Libertarian, a Democrat, and two Republicans on the ballot. And similar to our governor's election, no one had a majority of first choice votes. But with a ranked ballot, it's okay because it's built to handle situations like that. So I'll just kind of go through column by column to show how it works. Here in round one, none of the candidates received a majority. And so what happens is the last place candidate gets eliminated, and their votes will get transferred to whoever that voter picked next. And so we can see that in this column I've labeled transfer one. All those votes move to whoever those voters picked next. And in some cases, they only voted for the one candidate, so those ballots get exhausted. Now, once that's done, we tally all the votes again, see if anyone has a majority. In this case, no one has a majority still. And so we just repeat the whole process. So we eliminate whoever's in last. This time it's one of the Republican candidates. Transfer their votes to whoever they picked, if anyone. And now we retally it again. And now with down to two candidates, one does have a majority. So we can see that it does solve those problems that we had in the governor's election. Voters can vote more sincerely, and we end up with a winning candidate who has a majority. And I'd also like to point out that I think it's interesting to see where these voters went, where they picked second. The voters weren't really monoliths. Sure, most of the Republican voters stayed in that party, and that would happen with Democrats too, of course, but some switched parties and some only voted for the one Republican and not the other. And so it's interesting that that can happen. And we get that information with a ranked ballot, where we don't with plurality. So that's how the single winner version works. Another benefit of a ranked ballot when electing multiple candidates is that it's possible to elect candidates in a proportional way. And what I mean by that is we could elect our representatives by vote share instead of the winner take all method that we use today. Another way to think about it would be if we have a coalition that represents 40% of the voters, a proportional method means that they would win about 40% of the seats. And same if they had a majority, right? The coalition of 60% would win about 60% of the seats. Single transferable vote is one way to do proportional representation, and there are others. And so with this kind of method, it means that it would allow voters to have a representative, even if they're living in a district where they're not the majority. So if you live in a blue district now and you're conservative, with a proportional system, you would still be able to have a conservative representative that you voted for personally. And same if you're liberal or progressive and you live in a conservative district. This means there would be broader voter representation overall. More than 3/4 or more of the electorate would have someone that they personally voted for in their city council, legislator, what have you. This also means that gerrymandering would be more difficult because it's tougher to pack and crack voters in a way that changes the results. It would create more general election competition, even in ones that are significantly red or blue right now. And it would, of course, create larger districts. I consider all of these to be benefits, but there are differences in opinion to whether or not these would be benefits or not. But it would be quite a big difference from what we do today. And so that's really my overview. I do have a couple of links if anyone is interested in learning more about it. I can either post this presentation or the links in the chat, and both of these would have a lot more information about how ranked choice works and what changes we could see in our elections if we were to adopt it here. But I think now we can move on to our ranked choice election, and hoping that Janet or Connie could explain what we'll be doing with our ballot.
I will be glad to do that. Does anybody have any questions for Richard before we get started? Richard, we have a question. The question is, she saw overvotes on the table. Can you explain that?
Yeah, let me go back to here. So probably what happened, so like in our elections today, if someone votes for two candidates, that could be considered an overvote. And so what likely happened was that someone had two candidates as their first choice. And so the tabulation software, the county election official probably couldn't determine who they truly wanted first. And so they just end up in that overvote column. Again, it would be like someone filling out their mail ballot, both dots instead of just one.
Great, thank you. Anybody else have a question for Richard? Here's another one, Richard. Do you believe that ranked choice voting changes the way candidates run because they must try to be everyone's second choice?
So personally, yes. I will say I'm not a political scientist, but I do think it can create some incentive like that where, I'll use this one as an example. Both of the Republicans could say, vote for me, but then vote for my party mate second. And that might make their election more collaborative than competitive in a way.
Okay, thank you. I hope that answered Ruth's question. Here's another question. Can you review the exhausted votes?
Yeah. So what this means, and I'll use the transfer one column. So these 900 votes or so, these were ballots that ranked the Libertarian candidate first, and then they did not rank anyone second or third. And so it's really saying that these ballots were reviewed, but there was no one else for them to go to. So it's kind of like an undervote or a blank ballot like we have now, where it's, the ballot was read in and it was correct, but once their candidate was eliminated, there was just no one else for them to go to. So it's just considered exhausted at that point. There is nothing wrong with the ballot or anything like that.
Great, thank you. Anybody else have a question? Here's another one for you. How does a party decide to utilize IRV?
So I think, at least for I believe in the Democratic primary that we had here in 2020, I think the party just decided to hold that election themselves. And so I believe it was mail only, mail ballots only, and that sort of thing. Now, if they wanted to, say the Democrats or the Republicans wanted to use it in August, I think they may have to coordinate with the county election offices to get the equipment that they need to do that. Or they might have to change state law in some way. But I think if the party is operating the election themselves, they can probably do whatever they want, is my guess.
Yeah, I can actually add on to that. Kathleen had that question for us. There were some donations that the Democratic Party of Kansas received to do the ranked choice voting for the 2020 presidential primary. So that's how they got that to happen. Does anybody else have any questions for Richard? I'll just let you know that there is Richard's presentation next week will be a lot more in depth. You'll have a lot more questions. Oh, we got one more question. Does ranked choice voting lessen the work to expand voting rights? Interesting question.
I don't know if I have a good answer to that. I think I think it has an effect on voter turnout. If right now, if there's two candidates on the ballot, some people may not vote because they don't have a preference either way for those two. But if there could be more access to the ballot, with third parties or fourth parties being able to put someone on there without worry that their vote's going to be split, then that might encourage more people to vote because now they have someone who closely represents their views on the ballot. And so maybe that would get them more interested in voting and wanting to do that.
Excellent. Thank you. Anybody else? Any more questions? Oh, here we go. Are the machines for counting ballots more expensive? Or are existing machines simply reprogrammed?
So we did look at this in our study a little bit. The answer is gonna change depending on the county, because every county they buy their own machines, and it's a bunch of different models. I think very generally speaking, it would be a software update for most of our machines. I think in Johnson County would be one where it's hopefully just a software update for them, but that would have some cost to it. I'm saying it's just a software update, but it could still be, 6 figures or more to buy those licenses. I know Sedgwick County was another one where their machines can do it, but again, they need to buy the right software license to tabulate it. And currently, because we don't run ranked choice in Kansas, none of the counties would support it. They would just need to put that in their budgets to get the upgrades necessary.
So this will be the last question before we continue. All great questions, and I love that There's so many questions because there's a lot to know. You talk a lot about the pros of ranked choice voting. What are some of the cons?
Mhm. So I guess one con could be that the ballots get longer. So it might be more difficult for a voter to go through every candidate and research them and really understand if they're ranking the first person that they want. It is different from how we do things now. And so there's a learning curve. And so, there would be a need for a lot of voter education in order to understand how this works and what the different types of outcomes can be. I guess another thing could be looking back at a result like this, it is possible for someone who starts out in the third or fourth place to eventually gather enough first choice votes to win. And is that something that would be acceptable? For me, yes, because I know that that's how it works. But if we're going into it for the first time and that's what happens, is that something that the general public would accept as a good result or not? And so understanding that difference and even how would we, news media or election officials or candidates react to that sort of difference?
And I think the league can play a great part because you mentioned the educational component of understanding ranked choice voting. That that would mean we would have to help educate voters on how to do this, and vote411.org would play a bigger role with more candidates and more information available to the general public. So there's a lot that the league can be part of. So thank you very much, Richard. I really appreciate this, and I am looking forward to next week and more from you in the future. So we are very appreciative of that. And with Richard's help, we developed our own ranked choice voting. So, Richard, if you would stop sharing, we'll switch over to the rest of the presentation here. So Debbie is going to put up the slide that talks a little bit about our ranked choice voting that we came up with. So these topics were chosen based on our strategic plan, our the LWV US impact on the issues, and current events. And we came up with these 10 program ideas. And I'll just kind of go through them very quickly. We're talking about combating myths or disinformation in the political arena, cybersecurity, protecting Kansas election systems, recycling. Does Kansas have a plastic problem? Constitutional Convention. What happens to voting rights? Medical marijuana, up in smoke in Kansas. Healthcare in Kansas. The opioid crisis. Expanding Medicaid in Kansas. Human trafficking in Kansas. Legislative lessons learned. Kansas advocates protecting children from sexual predators. And finally, special education. Are children being left behind in Kansas? And so now we will start our survey for you to participate in ranked choice voting on the potential for the top 4 of your choices, with one being the most important to you. Yes, there are 10, but we want you to narrow that down to 4. So you will rank 1, 2, 3, and 4, what you want to see. So Debbie has posted the link in the chat for you to take a look at and for you to vote. Again, we will post the results at, we won't post them at our meeting. We will let you know what the results are at our meeting in February, and then we will post the results in the voter. So go have fun and practice ranked choice voting. And then while you are doing that, we'd like to have our team leaders introduce themselves and explain how their teams promote the mission of the league. of Women Voters of Johnson County. This was going to be the fair that we had planned, but due to the weather, this is our approach to doing that in a virtual capacity. So we're going to have each team leader explain to you their particular area. And then we're also posting a way for you to contact them via email. So we will begin with Eileen Marshall with the Observer Corps. Eileen, start us off. They will have 5 minutes to tell us their program, and we'll get started here. Eileen, where are you? Wave
I'm
at
here.
me.
I can see you. Can you
Oh,
see
there
me?
you. I see you.
Are you ready for me to start?
We are ready for you to start. Debbie, are you ready to get her started? Just go ahead and go. We'll start.
All right. I'm Eileen Marshall. During the last year, I reported for jury duty at the new modern county courthouse, enjoyed walking at Meadowbrook Park, watched my grandson's soccer game at Heritage Park, checked out many books at the library, went to an event at Johnson County Community College, cooled off in the Prairie Village pool, and enjoyed hearing the marching band practice at Shawnee Mission East High School, all while staying hydrated with some of the best and safest water in the country. I was able to do all of this because of the actions of our local government. In recent years and stretching back into the last century, our local government has a huge impact on our quality of life, not to mention the quality of our roads. And we are very fortunate to have responsive and well-functioning elected bodies in our county. It's not something we should take for granted. So I'm the coordinator of our local observer group. What is an observer, you ask? An observer is someone who agrees to watch the meetings of a particular elected body or government agency. They write a short report for our newsletter, The Voter, and keep us apprised of anything the league needs to know about. So why is this important? Well, one reason is that we are making elected officials aware that we are watching, which can be an incentive for those officials to play by the rules by holding open meetings, making themselves available to the public. Another reason it's important is that it allows us to take the temperature of our local democracy, be aware of the issues that are being discussed, see how the decisions are made, and how those intersect with the issues that are important to us. It seems to me that this year, the health of our democracy is first priority, and being an observer is a great way to be an eyewitness. So we have 17 observers right now covering 10 different meetings, but we currently have openings for some very interesting groups, such as the Library Board, Johnson County Community College Board of Trustees, Shawnee Mission School Board, several city councils, including Overland Park and Shawnee and Olathe. There's a lot of important stuff happening in all of these areas, and it would be great if we had an observer for every one of them. So if you are interested in learning more, I will gladly talk with you with no obligation on your part. So to contact me, go to the Johnson County League website and click at the top where it says Contact Us. Scroll down until you get to the listing for Observer Corps. And the email there will get you right to me, and then we can continue to talk about how you can get involved. And that's all I have this morning. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Eileen. That was great. I love how you started off. It was just so impactful, and how much every day of our life is impacted by our government. So thank you. Next, we have Ann Schuster, who's going to talk about voter registration. Go ahead and unmute yourself. There you go.
Hi, I'm Ann Schuster. I am one of the chairs of the voter registration team, sometimes called the voter engagement team, along with my co-chairs, Ann and Tom Stroud. Our purpose is to promote active participation in the election process by voters and potential voters. We direct them on how to register, how to update their voter information, and how to seek information about the upcoming elections. There is still a pending state court case, which many of you are aware of, that prohibits us at this time from assisting the public in filling out registration forms. However, we can still guide the public to online sites such as Voter 411 and KS Votes, where registration directions and materials can be found. Our team of volunteers were present at 23 different events in 2023 in what is usually considered an off year for elections, but we know that no year is truly an off election year. We reached over 1,100 people in the community prior to the November local elections, which consisted of city council, county, and school board elections, which were very important. Remember, all elections are local. Seek a presence at a wide variety of events. We have done that with great success and have had our league tables set up at such events as Pride Festival, Climate Action Summit, both JCCC and KCKCC community colleges, a festival in Argentine, and a Juneteenth celebration, among others. Today, we're going to be present at the Martin Luther King celebration in Prairie Village, where we will have volunteers to hand out literature, answer questions. We will also have information about the presidential preference primary that is coming up in March. We'll have a QR code that will direct voters to information about that. We have also produced information in Spanish as well as English. Thank you to Kay Healy for helping us out with that. Also, Tom Stroud was instrumental in getting us a canopy for our outdoor events, so we're not overheated on those really hot summer days. And also, Tom was instrumental in putting together a grant. We are still waiting to hear information about that. This will assist us in reaching our youngest voters. And just to conclude, I am going to put a link in the chat that will direct folks to learn how to sign up both for our committee and for individual events.
That's great. Thank you so much, Anne. And now we will hear from, that's a lot. You guys did so much this year, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you're going to accomplish this year. Now we'll turn to Diana Carney, who's going to talk to us about communications. Diana, take it away.
Good morning, everyone. I work with the Communications Committee and have for several years. We get the word out about all the great things that the other teams are doing. You've just heard a portion of that. There's more to come. And we help to make sure the messaging is engaging and on point. We do this with our monthly newsletter, The Voter. We do shorter monthly emails called the e-blast. You've seen those on the website, social media posts. Karen Lee Cox is a treasure and is doing a great job with our social media. We also help with any ad hoc requests. You know, maybe there's a press release or a call for volunteers or something that we add to get the word out there. Reasons to join our team. It's an effortless way to keep yourself informed. The Observer Corps reports are always very informative. Writing the newsletter is a very, educational opportunity. So it's just a great way to stay informed yourself. Most of our tasks can be done from home if that's a consideration for you. There are deadlines, of course, with when you're publishing anything, but we do have some control over our schedules. So for those who maybe are still working full-time, communications is a great opportunity. Training will be provided. We do use several software platforms, but we will absolutely help you with that. And it's a fun job, and you will be making a valuable contribution to the league. Thank you.
Thank you, Diana. That was great. If you want to be in the know before everybody else is, join the communications team to be in the know in advance. That's a great way to get involved. And now we will hear from Kathleen Morrow, on the Speakers Bureau. Kathleen, take it away. Where are you? There you are. Please unmute yourself. There you
There.
go.
How's that?
Good.
Okay. Okay. The Speakers Bureau was established in 2015. And then might have been established 20 years before that, but the 2015 is the record that we have. Between 2017 and 19, we averaged 11 presentations yearly. But between 20 and 23, we just had 4 presentations yearly, which leads to an important point here. The recent lower numbers were, I think, mostly because we didn't do much promoting of the Speakers Bureau, because you know, prior to that, we had been getting a lot of requests. So if you're interested, we're especially looking for someone to help with promoting the effort. The purpose is to promote and present the League of Women Voters of Johnson County, what we do and what issues we're concerned with, to community groups and organizations on a variety of topics. And also to talk about the League of Women Voters history, women's suffrage, and issues related to citizen legislative advocacy. So we have a broad purpose. And also to identify and reach out to new community groups with a message of free, fair, and accessible voting. The topics that we've covered, and these are just 4, there's a multitude, and in fact, all the topics are on PowerPoint. So if you're interested in being a speaker, you'll already have a PowerPoint presentation, and you won't have to make it up yourself. Some of the topics: 100 years of improving government and public policy, the impact of the League of Women Voters, voting the midterms, women's suffrage, and being an informed and active voter. We speak to a wide variety, but we're looking for even broader audiences and hoping that someone will join us in promoting. For example, we talked to the Overland Park Rotary Club, PEO, Daughters of the American Revolution, the Women's Association at Johnson County Community College, senior living centers, Sunflower Poplar Court, Olathe Towers, Santa Fe Towers, Wellstone Senior Living. And then lately, the General Services Administration, which is the federal agency. So I hope that this presentation is not very inspirational, but I hope that someone is interested, that all of you are interested, because it doesn't take a lot of time, mostly because we have the PowerPoints already prepared, so you can use those. So thank you very much. Does anyone have questions, or if you have questions and don't want to make them, send me an email, because we'll get you started. We're going to start doing promotional activities soon. The end.
The end. No, you guys are just beginning. Thank you very much, Kathleen. That was great. And like she said, hey, they have the script and the PowerPoint, so feel free to jump on in and get involved with promoting what the league does. It sounds like a great variety of topics too. So if one interests you, get in there and get involved. And next we have Nancy Allen talking about membership. Nancy, take it away.
Hi, my name is Nancy Allen, and I'm the chair of the membership committee. The membership committee promotes the mission of the league by recruiting, engaging, and retaining members. Join us at the next membership meeting on February 8th. It will be held at the Johnson County Library, Central Resource Library, at 4 p.m., room 4. You can register on our website on the events calendar. I have 4 items to talk about this morning. The first, and this is important, the annual business meeting in March where we vote. Your membership must be active on January 31st. If you're uncertain, you can check your membership on the league. And if you don't know how to do that, please contact me at the email address that will pop up in the chat. The second thing I have, I'm calling the Membership Challenge. Current league members are our best ambassadors to gain interest in membership in the league. The membership committee will place a QR code that opens to the Join Now page on our website and in the next voter. And we will encourage you to scan the QR code. And when you're talking about the league, you can pull out the QR code and ask who you're talking to scan it so they can go to our Join Now page or go search around our website to see what we're about. I'm challenging every member to ask one person to join. They don't have to join. I just want the ask. I'm not keeping track of it, but please, we are our best ambassadors, so ask. The third thing I have is book club. Did I hear book club? The membership committee is exploring the creation of a book club. If you're interested in this, we'll be meeting tomorrow on Zoom at 1:30. The link is in the events calendar on the website. We're considering other small groups such as Walk and Chat, Knit and Chat, and I know you crocheters, any fiber art will do really, or Coffee, Tea and Chat. We're looking at small groups to meet and discuss what's going on in the local issues at the Kansas State House or national issues that are adjacent to our league positions, all while you're doing something you enjoy. A bonus goal would be if all the chatterers contacted their lawmakers after the chats. Finally, and fourth, your membership profile. Did you know you had a membership profile on the website? Just like other social media, you can upload your photo, your interests, if you serve on a committee or you volunteer. Uploading a photo helps new members see who we are, and it helps you find league members at meetings who share your interests. And it helps us, the membership committee, develop programs to meet your needs. Oh, I lied. I do have one more thing. Stay warm and go Chiefs. Thanks.
Thanks, Nancy. Yes, stay warm and go Chiefs. And there's lots to talk about. So find something that you want to chat about and reach out to Nancy. Maybe she'll help you hook all that together. So next we have Marie Hernandez, who's going to tell us all about voter information. Marie, take it away.
Okay, I don't think I'll get it all about, but my name is Marie Hernandez. Davy Kitchen and I head up the Voter Information Committee, and we have many activities throughout the year. So starting in January, we are working with Johnson County, Bonner Springs, and Kansas City, Kansas libraries on legislative coffees. So all Johnson County and Wyandotte County legislators are invited to participate in these coffees. And these coffees are a chance for you to ask legislators about the current issues that are being discussed in Topeka. So we'll need members to moderate questions from the audience, act as greeters, timekeeper, and handle refreshments. And as the elections approach, we'll work on the following initiatives. Candidate meet and greets. So we are going to hold candidate meet and greets in Johnson and Wyandotte counties for both the primary and the general elections. We'll need people to set up, greet, and handle refreshments. Note a theme going on here. Vote 411 is the league software program that supplies personalized voter information to the public. We have a great team of volunteers that help us with this, but we can always use more volunteers to help contact candidates and to encourage voters to use the software. One of the main reasons that people say they don't vote is because they don't know who the candidates are and they don't know what they stand for. The Vote 411 software is the league's answer to that problem. The voter to voter team. They use a relational Get Out the Vote app to encourage friends and families to participate in the upcoming elections. This type of voter contact is considered one of the most effective tools in getting the less frequent voters to the polls. So please consider joining the voter to voter team that JOCO has. And then once again, we'll be having the Get Out the Vote postcard parties in the libraries throughout Johnson County. Last year, we reached 2,500 voters with our postcards and our door knockers. Our team is also going to be focusing on youth outreach. We'll continue to work with the Olathe Teen Council, the Shawnee Mission Northwest High School, the KCKCC All In Initiative, and the Johnson County Community College Get Out the Vote projects. Once again, we're going to need a lot of volunteers for these activities. For our legislative coffees and our candidate meet and greets, we need all of you to attend. We need you to invite people. We need you to bring your friends. We need to be present. It's important that legislators and candidates know that we're paying attention. So even if you don't volunteer as a greeter, come. So, and then when we are looking for volunteers, we contact people who express interest in our voter information programs. So if you're interested, you can just email us at voterinformation@lwvjoco.org, or you can go to the website, you can log in and update your interests under Get Involved. And then we will be contacting you. Thank you.
Thanks, Marie. You have a lot going on, and the postcard parties are fun. It's quiet because everybody's working so hard getting those postcards all pretty. I just love it. So thank you very much. And now we are going to hear from Ann Norberry, who's going to tell us about the merchandise. Ann, take it away.
Well, I'm here.
Go ahead. Go for it.
Where is it?
You're there.
Can you see me?
No. How about we let's move on to advocacy with Danielle. We'll get you settled and go on to Danielle.
All right, thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm Danielle Keller. I'm chair of the advocacy committee. We were reestablished last year with a lot of enthusiasm after the March annual meeting. And we got together and we put together our mission statement, which is to educate on issues and advocacy methods, activate new and existing advocates, and collaborate with like-minded organizations to expand our reach to empower voters and defend democracy. And unfortunately, shortly after that, we did lose a little bit of momentum. I had some issues in my family, and my co-chair at the time stepped down to run for election. And great news is she won her election, but now she is focused on that work. And so jumping into how you can help out the advocacy committee this year, because we're really excited to just get some more momentum and hit the ground running this year and, establish a robust, strong committee. You can join me as a co-chair. If you are interested in that, you can reach out to the email, and I would love to have somebody help me with this work and this mission. So just let me know. You've probably received by now 2 Advocate Action weekly emails. If you like those and want to help, we have our outline put together, but we still need help writing them, proofreading them, and finding graphics to make those a little more visually interesting and exciting for our readers. So if that's an effort that you think's awesome, you can reach out to me, and that's a very small, specific ask that you can help with. expanding on that, I think after this legislative session, we'd like to put together advocacy handbooks for all of the local governing bodies, for the state legislature, the county commission, the school boards, the city councils, and really just outline, what I think one important question is, what does that governing body do? We have candidates that run on platforms, and it's stuff that they don't actually have authority to do on that body. That's something, does the legislature do that? Does the school board do that? People should know what all of those committees do. So just putting together kind of a basic, here's the different groups, here's what they do, here's how they meet. You can contact them, submit testimony, how they make decisions, and really just, I think it's kind of like a rebuilding year for advocacy, and our focus now is just on educating and putting together a platform of material that we can reference then in the future as we expand into, true advocacy on league positions. If you aren't necessarily involved in getting on the committee or participating in some of these volunteer opportunities, but you do just want to be a good advocate in your day-to-day life, there's also a few things you can do. You can read those weekly advocate actions and follow their lead and do more. And you can also join the League of Women Voters of Kansas Fast Fridays every Friday at 4 p.m. And they're just, that's the state legislative observer corps talking about what's going on in the state legislature each week. So I think that is my spiel. And if you have any questions or comments, or would like to help, please just reach out to me at advocacy@lwvjoco.org, and we will find something that you can help contribute to.
Great, thank you, Danielle. Advocacy is really combining both aspects of the league's work. You're educating and advocating. It's engaging you, our members, on what's happening. It's just something that you're passionate about. There's something to advocate for with every level of government. So thank you very much, Danielle. And now we'll hear from Kay Healy on DEI. Take it away, Kay.
Good morning. I'm Kay Healy. I am part of the DEI team, most of whom are members of other league committees. First, I just want to say that this Monday, we especially honor the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and all the women and men who continue to work for justice. And I'm asking you to mark your calendars for Sunday, February 25th from 3 to 4:45, and that's been put in the chat. It's at the Central Library. We are hosting an Immigration 101 session with our partner AIR, and it's a session to help us know even more about a very complex issue. So about DEI, as you are aware, both the League of Women Voters of the U.S. and our local league are very committed to incorporating the DEI lens into all of our planning and actions. That includes translating voter information materials into other languages. DEI stands for diversity, equity, and inclusion. So let's review some definitions. Diversity. When we completed the membership survey last year, it was no surprise that our league membership consists of majority white, older women with college educations. We would love to see more members of the LGBTQ+ community, neurodiverse community, people living with disabilities, young people, more people of color, more men. Our league recognizes that we are a stronger organization with as many diverse voices as possible. Equity. Equity and equality are not the same. Equality means sameness. Equity means fairness. Let's say we have a group of runners ready to compete. They all need shoes. Equality means giving them all the same size shoe. Equity means giving them the size of shoe that best fits their feet. And our goal is equity. Inclusion. We want everyone to feel welcome at our gatherings, our partnerships, our programs, and we want our planning and actions to involve as many voices as possible. I want to take a moment to review the DEI lens, which you can find on our league website under DEI resources, and the questions that our board and committees ask as they do our work. I'm going to work through the 5 DEI lens questions using a perennial league action, which has already been mentioned, of getting more young people out to vote in the next election. This action requires voter registration, voter information, and motivating people to get out to vote. So the first DEI question is, who is involved in the process and how diverse is the group? This is an action thing now. In our action, who needs to be involved in the process? Please raise your hand if you think young people should be involved. Should they be involved as role models and frontline advocates? What about school district employees, community groups? The second question is who will be impacted? Who benefits? Who is burdened? In our action, everybody would benefit from more young people voting. But who might be burdened? I would suggest that our young advocates might be burdened. Would they have enough support? Would they be paid for their time? The third question is, what are the intended and unintended outcomes? Our intent is to get more young people registered to vote and get to the polls because we believe that everyone should vote. But looking at unintended outcomes, if we urge young people to vote and their candidate or cause lose, could there be cynicism? What if they feel uninformed? Might our action reinforce that my vote doesn't count anyway feeling? Raise your hand if a cause or candidate you supported did not win. Learning how to move past that can be difficult for even seasoned voters. The fourth question is, does this align with our vision for an equitable and inclusive organization? I would see that our action definitely aligns. We are addressing equity by working to include young voters who are newer to the democratic process and who might require more education and support. What barriers to equity must we avoid? Are we only registering white young people, English-speaking young people, wealthy young people? And finally, question 5, what changes could be made to make this more equitable? Do we need new policies or bylaws? In our action, we may need funding to pay our diverse young advocates. We may need to vary our locations, meet the young people where they are. We may need to try voter education methods that appeal to young voters. Raise your hand if you're on TikTok. I am not. So the DEI lens is not difficult, but it does take time and intention. So what's next for DEI in our league? We've had a DEI committee for 5 years, and that will be phasing out at the end of March. Our leaders have a continuing vision to incorporate these DEI questions and priorities into every aspect of our league. There's much work to be done, and we need many hands to do that work. Which committee can you lend your hands to? How are you able to help our league continue its mission to create a more perfect democracy? And how will you help promote diversity, equity, and inclusion in your league actions? Thank you for all that you do.
Thank you so much, Kay. Oh, and my timer's going off. Hope that wasn't too. You perfect. See, you did it. So thank you very much, Kay. Kay has led this committee for how many years? 3?
Well, I would say Mary Lou Jaramillo and Ann Sanders were the initial instigators. So thank you to them very much.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Now, if you are so compelled that you want to carry this on more than what Kay has mentioned, feel free to reach out to Janet and myself if you want to chair this committee. And, you know, we can keep that going. But the plan right now is to transition, so to take off the training wheels, so to speak, and really, really impact those our various teams. So thank you very much, Kay, and your team for all that you've done through the years. Now we're going to go back to Ann Norberry. She's ready for her merchandise. Ann, take it away.
Good morning. This is Ann Norberry. I have the merchandise table that's at most meetings. I wanted to show you some of the things that we have. The purpose of the merchandise is to increase League's visibility in Johnson County. So we have 4 ways to do that. One is the shirt that some of you have seen. I'm wearing today. It's short sleeve, but you can wear it in the winter if you put it over a turtleneck. So the shirt says, "Voting is good for the Constitution." And a lot of people wear these shirts to meetings and league events like the legislative coffees. You can also do it to register voters anytime we're doing that, or just going to the gym or the grocery store. You might start a conversation with someone. It's just the thing that would kick it off. The other, another thing, let's see, go put it up to the camera. Do you like bling? This is Rhinestone's vote pin. You can wear it all year with any coat or jacket or shirt. And it, again, can start a conversation. Well, what, vote, what wins the election? What's going on? So if you like bling, this is for you. Another one we have is the car magnet. See if it shows up. Your vote counts. This was initially ordered by the Lawrence League. And so we're doing it. And recently a league in Iowa asked about getting some for their area. So the word is spreading, and it's one way to get the word about league out. The fourth thing is our yard sign. It says your vote matters. These are to be put in yards during election season, which in Kansas is mostly July and October before the elections. We advise that since we are a nonpartisan group, that you put a yard sign in a yard alone, not next to a candidate, because we don't want anyone to think we're endorsing a candidate. So the yard signs send a message about voting, and they're alone in the yard. The car magnet you can put on your car, and it spreads the word about league in any parking lot, anywhere you go. So again, we're getting the word out and making league a visible organization in the community. So how do you get these? I usually have them at meetings, have a merchandise table. The other way is to go to the website, lwvjoco.org, and then click on Get Involved, and the drop-down menu brings you to the shop. And it shows all the items and their price. And then the message comes to me, and I'll make arrangements if you want to get it between meetings. If you want to get something between meetings, I can arrange to get it delivered to you. So I'm asking if anyone would like to join me in staffing the merchandise table at league meetings. It's a good chance to talk to people and push our merchandise, which publicizes league. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anne. And I know I've picked up everything but a sign, but thank you. And thank you for reminding us about being nonpartisan. Our organization is nonpartisan, meaning we don't endorse or oppose a candidate or a political party. So thank you for reminding us of that. And yes, go get your bling, go get your car magnets, go get your signs, and go get your shirts and show up. So thank you very much, Anne. Next, we will hear from Lynn Hardy and all about hospitality. So Lynn, take it away.
Okay, great. Am I unmuted?
You are.
Good. I love following Anne. It's all about shopping and food. This is great. By the way, my name is Lynn Hardy, and I'm on the hospitality team for the league. Although I've been on the league for about 6 years and have been on numerous committees, hospitality has got to be one of my favorites. If it weren't 0 degrees outside right now, we would be at our regular meeting place, and the hospitality team would be offering you a cup of coffee or tea, whichever you prefer, whichever you prefer, and some baked goods or fruit, a more healthy choice. We would be welcoming you to the meeting and making sure that your pre-meeting questions would be addressed and answered, and helping you make some social connections among the group. That's primarily how we support the mission of the league. Our mission is to create a warm and welcoming environment for all of our members and guests ahead of each monthly meeting, and to ensure that each person attending the meeting has a great experience. We do have some business to accomplish what we do at our meetings. First, we post volunteer opportunities on the website monthly to assure that we have plenty of delicious treats for the meeting. Our team arrives about 8 a.m. on meeting day and prepares the service table and gets the coffee going. We direct members who are providing food items that day where to place their treats and thank them profusely. We welcome each participant as they arrive and invite them to enjoy some coffee, tea, treats, and social time. And then we direct folks to the sign-in tables prior to the program and business meeting starting. After the meeting, it's our responsibility to make sure the space is clean and clear of all items. We restore all of our items into our storage area and just make sure we leave it as good or better than we found it. Hospitality is a great way to meet people in the league. I'm learning that it's also a great way for a long time member to have some fun connecting with new members and reconnecting with other longtime members. And it's a terrific way to know that you're contributing to the mission of the league by making meetings inviting and comfortable for all who attend. So.
Thank you so much, Lynn. You are you're the engagement of the league, so to speak. And it's just so great to see our hospitality team that's been reimagined, and they truly are a team, and how they're approaching what they're doing. So thank you so much for being there early and getting things ready to go with coffee and treats. And it's just so fabulous to see how everything all comes together. And I think they're the ones who pull all the donations that we have and set it all up all nice and a wonderful display. I think they're the ones in the background doing all that. So thank you, hospitality, and Lynn Hardy, and all that you guys do. That's so fabulous. So next up, it is fun. It's fun to see you guys there. You're ready to go. You're ready to go with that coffee and tea, and it's just so wonderful. So next we'll hear from Mary Lou Jaramillo, and I'm talking about the treasurer and our money.
Yeah, thanks, Connie. Well, I'm the treasurer, and I stepped into this role in March of 2023 to fill a vacancy. I was appointed by Janet to the position. I support the League's mission by managing the League's general operating account with an eye on the annual budget that the membership approves each year. The work of the treasurer involves paying the invoices, tracking and recording income, preparing monthly financial statements for the board. I work closely with the membership committee, specifically Nancy Allen, as we sometimes try to reconcile membership payments and donations that come via our website and the management system we use called Club Express. And I also serve on the budget team, and you'll know more about the budget team for our annual meeting. This year, I look forward to working with the finance team as we begin our new year that will provide oversight and assistance. In 2020, our league received approval from the Internal Revenue Service as a not-for-profit 501c3 organization. And we are required to file a 990 nonprofit tax return with the IRS and also file with the Kansas Nonprofit Corporation report with the Kansas Secretary of State. And I want to thank Marie Hernandez. She has been a wonderful help to me, both with just some accounting stuff and also filing these two documents the past year. I appreciate her expertise in that arena. With the 501c3 designation, we are eligible to pursue grants from foundations, organize fundraising events, and I know we've had them in the past prior to me joining the league. We can receive and recognize charitable contributions from members, and we appreciate those of you who have donated and continue to donate, our friends, and businesses that support our mission. But to do these things, your ideas, your engagement, and above all, your leadership are needed to create a fundraising team. And so keep this in mind as we begin our new fiscal year, April 1. To reach me, you can email me at treasurer@lwvjoco.org. Our league will need every member involved. Talents and your expertise are greatly appreciated. Thank you. Oh, one more thing. I want to recognize Ann Norberry. She noted the promotional items. Well, because of her passion to do this, so far, we're not through at the end of our fiscal year yet. We have January, February, March. So far, she has collected $460 through those promotional items that she tugs around each event. So thank you, Anne.
And thank you, Mary Lou. That was fabulous. Yes, money is very important to the league and how we operate and where our priorities are. So you'll see that, and we're always looking for more. We need ideas. So I have some ideas. Mary Lou has some ideas. Janet has some ideas. We all have ideas. So share your ideas with Mary Lou. And now now Siri's trying to talk to me on my phone, and we have a contentious relationship. So now I'd like to introduce Jennifer Day to talk about programs. She'll close us out with this portion on getting to know our team. So Jen, take it away.
Hi, thank you so much, Connie. Good morning, everyone. Just wanted to, my name is Jennifer Day. I'm the current Vice President for the League of Women Voters, Johnson County. I think everybody is kind of familiar with what I do, but the primary responsibility of the Vice President is to plan and produce programs that are presented at monthly meetings throughout the year. So as we all know, there are lots of ways to contribute ideas to this, but our topics for these programs are decided based on mostly member feedback, like what we did at the beginning of the meeting through our ranked choice vote, and as well as collaboration with members of the board, and are also based on, of course, current events of importance that are occurring in the community, as well as sometimes around the state. So those programs are created with the intention of furthering the League's mission to promote political responsibility by helping to educate citizens about issues and to hopefully inspire individual participation in the political process. And we always appreciate the attendance at the monthly programs, and obviously we hope that you find them helpful and worth your time. Just a couple of notes about this year's so far, 2023, and heading here into 2024. You might be interested, our gun safety program was the highest attended in person. I'm not sure if that was location, topic, just because of the way that we got the word out. It was great. It was a really good event. It's also been highly watched on our YouTube channel. Our school funding and school choice program that we had is the one that's had the highest number of views on our YouTube channel so far. But it was also really well attended in person. And just speaking for myself, doing this work has been really rewarding, especially seeing so many people interested in attending these programs. Our immigration program was also very well attended, and just really, it's been such a great wonderful opportunity. I hope everybody else has had a good time with it too. So thank you so much for attending and for being interested members of the league.
Thank you, Jen. Yes, you are the front line of education and getting that engagement out. So thank you very much for the programs that you've put together this year. I want to thank all of our leaders for introducing themselves, explaining how each team contributes to the promotion and the mission of the league. So be sure to check out our website at www.lwvjoco.org and click on Get Involved, volunteer, join a committee or interest. And of course, reach out to our committee leaders for more information, to volunteer, ask questions, just get to know them and be involved. So before we close today, we have just a few more announcements. So Debbie is going to share, wrong one. We'll get Debbie here ready to go. So one of our announcements are about our book club. Just a reminder about our book club, the election method study consensus meeting, our February 3rd program meeting, League Day at the Capitol, where you can wear those shirts, and of course our legislative coffees. So Nancy did talk a little bit about our upcoming book club virtual planning meeting. That's tomorrow from 1:30 to 2:30. Details are at lwvjoco.org. You'll see a recurring theme to check our website and look on the events calendar. You will decide how those book clubs will operate. So next, we have the election methods study. Richard will be back again to tell us a little bit more about the entire study that he did. Right now it's planned for Smooch, but we just be prepared to pivot again in case there's inclement weather like we're having today. So the plan right now is Smooch. The backup plan is virtual. And of course, please register at the event calendar at www.lwvjoco.org. That way, if you register, we can get you notified really fast that we've switched to a virtual on Zoom, and you'll get all that registration information. Yeah, so the election method study will be a little bit more detailed. Richard will probably talk a little bit more about the likelihood of a position statement that's going to come out that'll be at the state level. And if we want to pull that together all the way through to a local position, we can do that as well next time. And then, of course, you'll have an opportunity to discuss and ask questions. And I see that so our program on February 3rd at 9 a.m. at Smooch is about the presidential preference primary. That's a mouthful. So I'm just going to say PPP because sometimes I can't get the words out fast enough. So we have 3 opportunities to vote this year in March, August, and again in November. So our program will be, we will explore the who, how, and why of this particular primary. Why is it happening in March? How's it going to work? Who's in charge? Who can vote? So join us February 3rd, 9 a.m. at Smooch, and our details are at our website. So we did talk a little bit about League Day at the Capitol. It's still in the planning process. If you're interested, please reach out to Janet or myself at president@lwvjoco.org. But the plan right now is to do what we did last year, and right now there's no cost. So just let Janet and I know, we'll keep you up to date on the latest details. And wear your shirt, and make plans to visit with your legislators or attend the committee meeting. See what's happening. Keep the legislators kind of on task. Let them know that you're interested. And then we have lots of legislative coffees coming up. I know that I'm just going to tell you about the ones that are in January, February, but Debbie and Marie have them planned out through March. So yay for them. We're going to continue these partnerships that we've established with Johnson and Wyandotte counties and the libraries there. And as a nonpartisan organization, supporting neither supporting or endorsing or opposing a political party or candidate, all legislators were invited to attend. So let's see what's happening in the legislature, what's percolating. So we have 3 opportunities on this slide: January 27th and February 17th for Johnson County. The one in January is in Prairie Village at the Corinth Library. The one in February is at the Lenexa City Center in Lenexa. Saturday, February 10th, that's a week after our PPP meeting, will be at the Bonner Springs Library. And then the Johnson County folks will have another opportunity on February 24th at the Blue Valley Library. And of course, as Marie mentioned, they are looking for volunteers to be greeters, field the questions from people, and be timekeepers and take care of those refreshments. So reach out to Debbie and Marie on how you can help. And of course, be there, ask those questions. So finally, I just want to thank you all again for spending your Saturday morning with us via Zoom. We hope to see you next week in person, but if not, we have a plan for inclement weather. I'll be back here on Zoom. We'll begin at 9 a.m. And thank you for being here. Stay warm, stay safe, go Chiefs. Talk to you later. Bye.